Hey everybody, it's me, Undead Viking. I'm here to do a review for you, and the game I'm going to show you is called Rise of Cthulhu. This is a two-player card game where each person is playing a leader of a cult, obviously a Cthulhu cult. Well, not just Cthulhu, but a cult based around the Cthulhu mythos. And you are trying to control these four major locations where the Cthulhu powers are drawn to. And as you play the game, you will be getting prepared for the arrival of Great Old Ones. And when the Great Old Ones arrive, they will go to one of the four locations, and whoever is in charge of that location will earn the points for that. And then you play, and then another Great Old One shows up, and so on and so forth, until the very end you figure out who holds the most sway with the great evil beasties from beyond. And the one who doesn't, of course, has to get gobbled and devoured by Azathoth or Yog-Sothoth or whatever horrible creature might be spawned from the great oceans of R'lyeh or whatever. Well, you know what I'm talking about. Basically, it's a two-player game that is very competitive and a heck of a lot of fun. So let me show you how to play the game, and then I'm going to tell you exactly what I think of Rise of Cthulhu. Alright, cool. Let's do this. This is Rise of Cthulhu. I've gone ahead and set it up. The four locations that you will be battling over are located in the middle. I'll just pick up one of these. And this is Innsmouth. And you can see that there's some cool artwork there. And there's a special ability. It says, the first to play 5 cultists of the same color here may choose another location and destroy all cards that are in play there. And the cards actually get placed at the bottom of these locations as you play the cultists, and I'll show you those cultist cards in just a moment. And so obviously, like, with the first person who puts those down would be able to pick one and kill everything that's in that particular spot. They are, of course, if you probably can't see them, but it's Arkham, Dunwich, Innsmouth, and Kingsport are the 4 different locations. Now, this is the deck of cultists. I've already gone ahead and dealt out 5 cultist cards to each person, but here you go. Each card will have a color. This one, obviously, as you can see, is red, and they have a number. 6, 1, 8, turn these over, a 9, and a 7. So pretty good. The more points that you have on the spot means, like, obviously the more power you have. And if you are leading on a spot, say like on the first turn, this person, like, puts this 7 there, you will then turn the card so it's facing you, meaning you have control over it. Now, if the person over on the other side, were to play an 8, then you would flip it so it's facing the other person. If at any point, like, you have the same amount, let's say, here, let's put that 3 there, so it has 10, and then 10 here, that would be even, and so then you would then go ahead and place it in the neutral spot, so showing that neither person actually would control that. So let's go ahead and just put those cards back down there, put that card there. Alright, cool. There's also other things that happen if you put 3 cards of the same color, 3 cards that form a run, or 3 cards of the same number in a location, but we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Basically what that does is it allows you to either draw artifacts or monsters, or move this creature here that's called the Dark Hunter. But regardless, to set up the game, we have to take the rest of this deck of cards. These are the rest of the cultist cards. And we have to split it into 3 piles. And so I'm just going to I suppose I could count these out, but I'm just going to randomly do it. So here we have 3 piles. And then we have these, which are the Great Old One cards. So you have Azathoth, Cthulhu, Shub-Niggurath, Thaqua, Hastur, and Yog-Sothoth. Alright, so you take these, and you kind of shuffle them up a little, and you take 3 of them, and you leave the other 3 out, but you don't put them away because there's a chance certain cards or certain actions will cause them to come into play. We'll just go ahead and put those over there. We take these 3, and then you place them in the middle, approximately, of these 3 decks, like so. And then you go ahead and recreate your deck of cultists. So, now there is a last spot that you have is called the Valley. And you place this over there, and that's the Valley. In order to play a card in the Valley, you have to, when you play cards, because that's another spot you can play it, you can either play it in one of these locations or play it there, you have to either match the color that is on the spot with the Valley, or you have to have a number that is greater than the number that's on there. If you play a card to the Valley, it allows you to move this Dark Hunter card to one of these locations that does not have a Great Old One on. And when you move the Dark Hunter to that location, it will kill the agent at that location, the cultist at that particular location of the highest value. So in this situation where, you know, if you had a 10 and you know, you had this 6 there, if you took this and that got put there, this would be discarded and be destroyed. And so then obviously then that can obviously affect and change who controls the different locations as well. So pretty fair and fairly straightforward as far as that's concerned. Now on your turn, what you will do is you have 3 options. You can draw 2 cards from the deck and put those in your hand. You can play 2 cards, you know, from your hand out on the board, or you can draw 1 card and play 1 card, and not necessarily in that order. You could play a card and then draw 1. You could, you know, or draw a card and play a card like that. That's the entire game. You basically fight over these particular locations until a Great Old One shows up. So on your first turn, like you have, you know, we had these cards before, and so, you know, let's just, you know, let's say because we got 3 green ones here, and so there's a couple of these spots. It says first to, what is it? First of the 5 cultists with the same color. So yeah, let's go ahead and put that 8 there, you know, and so then you would turn it like that, and then play a 7 there as well, because you get to play 2 cards. So you got a total of 15 power there. Pretty good, right? And so then the other player would go, and they'd have their turn, and they'd say, well, you know, I don't like that. And plus, you can, if you play a run, that's a special power. So, you know, they might say, and it's like what this one says, first play 5 cards in a run here, like 7, 8, 9, 10, would summon a random old one in their favor of the location of the unused old one card. So, you know, they could go an 8 and a 9, and then we turn that one like so. And so now you go back and forth with the different powers. Now, of course, like on the next person's turn, they might look at their cards and say, well, I want to draw a card because I'm down to 3, so they draw a card. Here we have an 8. And this 2, well, you know, they could play it there. Let's, you know, they drew 1 card, now they're going to play a card. So they're going to play that one right there, because then they get another green one, you know, and they're trying to get those 5 cultist cards. But because they played 3 cards of the same color, they evoke a set ability. Now, if the set ability for playing 3 cards of the same color in this situation, unfortunately, wouldn't be helpful, because what the ability is that it takes this Dark Hunter and it moves it back over into that location. But, so, like, for example, let's say, you know, because after the Dark Hunter is in a location, you can't play any more cards there. And so, let's just, for example, let's, you know, say that, you know, this 2 had been there, well, no, I'm sorry, not 2, but, like, let's put, like, this 8 and this 2 in that location, and then when the other player had their turn, you know, they had a 3, and they moved the Dark Hunter in that location. It kills the biggest thing, so then it destroys this, and that's gone. And so even though we had control over that, this would flip back over here because the 3 is higher than the 2. But when we get these 3 of the color, that would enable you to take this Dark Hunter and move them back into that location, and then, you know, and then even though they still have control over it, we would have the ability then to play more cards in here and take back Innsmouth and then control it. Now, the other set abilities, if you play a card that grants them 3 of the same number, so this is going to take a little, I'm going to have to finagle my way into finding 3 of the same card. So let's take this 1 and a 1. Let me find another 1. Yeah, they're right there on the bottom. That was lucky. So if somebody plays 3 of the same color, let's say, you know, over here we control this and go 1, 1, and a 1. So we have these 3 with the 1s. If you have 3 of those, you must draw then a monster card. And monsters, like here is the Byakhee. Draw 4 cards from the deck or valley, choose 1 to keep, and put the other 3 in any order at the bottom of the deck or the valley. Now, monster cards you hold in your hand, and they do not count against one of the cards that you play. These are basically a free card that you get to play. Monster cards are usually extremely helpful, and I'll just show you some of the other ones here. Like, you know, the Shoggoth, play this on opponent's side of location. It subtracts double their highest cultist and play at the end of the game. You know, the Night Gaunt, move a target cultist from the opponent's side to your side of location. So, you know, obviously, the monsters have awesome powers that you can evoke. Now, finally, in order to get these artifacts, you would have to play a card that grants them 3 cultists that share the same color and are in the same order. That would allow you to draw an artifact. And so, like, here's the Silver Key. And the Silver Key allows you to discard or cancel a cultist or monster card as it is being played, or if you keep this until the end of the game, it's worth plus 6 points at the end. So, the artifacts are, like, you can get those into your hand as well. The game continues as you draw this deck of cards, and I'm going to cheat and find the Great Old One. How far? I don't know how far we have to go down. No, not too much farther, but like the first Great Old One, in this case, would be Ithaqua. And so when you take this, you place this according to this, like Dunwich, Innsmouth, Kingsport, Arkham. So he would go to Dunwich first if there wasn't like a Great Old One there already. And so you take the Ithaqua and you find Dunwich, which is here. And so you place that in there, and whoever then, and once the Great Old One is in the location, it's done. I mean, you're not going to be able to put anything else on that spot. And the Dark Hunter can't go to a spot that has a Great Old One either. But then your opponent gives you 1 artifact card. If they have none, they give you the highest cultist in their hand instead. So they've won that location. Now they have to hand over either their highest cultist or an artifact if they happen to have one in their hand. And so then you keep going, and then you get the next Great Old One, and you place it in on the spot. Then you get the next Great Old One, and you place it in the spot. And at that point, the game is over, after all 3 of the Great Ones come out and are part of the game. At that point, whoever controls the most areas, once all 3 Great Old Ones are out, is the winner. So if you have, like, 3 to their 1, then you win the game at that point. If you're tied, you both control 2, then you're going to go with the total points of cards that are in play, and the winner. And that's like where that artifact of the Silver Key will come into play, because of the fact that you get plus 6 points. Now there is, and we didn't get Azathoth as one of our 6. So Azathoth actually says, if you get this guy, you gain plus 10 victory points. And the game can only be won by points, because, of course, Azathoth is so huge. It just devours the world and the moon and whatever. And so whoever has the most points on their side at that point will win the game. The game is very fast, it is very quick, and it is very confrontational, but it is a heck of a lot of fun. And it is fun, of course, to be the bad guy, fighting another bad guy, if you will, trying to make sure that your insane cultists are the ones left standing, or at least elevated to some level of power before they are devoured and you go insane for the rest of your very short life. But let me tell you exactly what I think of Rise of Cthulhu right now. All right, the art for this game is awesome. I was really impressed. I mean, obviously, like, Cthulhu and everything like that. I mean, we all, at this point, we've seen enough games about Cthulhu and whatever that we have a very good image of him in our head, if you will. But I mean, even the stuff like the Byakis and the Dark Young or whatever. I mean, I dig this art. I dig the shading. I dig everything about it. It actually, for me, it kind of evokes like a Mike Mignola art from Hellboy, if you will, with all the weird shading and everything like that. Not perfectly, but it definitely makes me think of that when I see it. So, regardless, I mean, the presentation of the game is absolutely stunning and beautiful, and that should be mentioned. Now, as far as gameplay goes, I really enjoyed this, and I knew I was going to because I was and I still am, a really big fan of the Call of Cthulhu, first the CCG, and then the LCG. I just couldn't keep up with it. I couldn't keep up with the cards. I couldn't keep up with everything that was going on. But I did think that could have been my Magic the Gathering, whatever. I could have spent thousands of dollars on those cards trying to build decks and everything like that. Thankfully, the area I live in, there was never a big call for it. There was never a big like tournament or anything for it. Nothing like Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh or anything like that, or even Legend of the Five Clans or whatever. It just never caught on around here, and that's which is sad because the game, in my opinion, is so much better than any of those. But I do think that. It was a good thing, otherwise, like I said, I would have spent all that money on all of that. But what I like about this is that whereas, it's obviously it's not the same. I mean, it's its own entity. But having a quick little two-player game of the Cthulhu mythos where you're fighting each other and having the dark gods show up and whatever, I like that. I mean, where it isn't a perfect a replacement or whatever. It fills that niche for me. It fills that fun little aspect. Obviously, this game it's for two players, and so like if you're looking for a quick little two-player Cthulhu game, I think it's perfect for those people that want that like 20-minute game. I mean, that's kind of after me and my gaming group got used to playing the game. That's right around how long the game lasts for us. Right around 20 minutes, maybe 25, if like certain cards or whatever, or we're being attacking each other more. But it does combine all the things that I think a two-player game needs. Quick decision turns, so you're not like sitting there waiting for the other person to go. You can look at the game board and know exactly where you stand at any given time. So like when it comes time to your strategy and figuring out what you're going to be able to do or what you should do, it's easy to determine. And it allows you those little like wonderful either gotcha moments where you move the little creature here and destroy the cards, the Dark Hunter, if you will. You destroy some of his card, or just like you have that perfect combination of a few cards that you have in your hand, just to pull off a really cool turn. Like just like I feel really smart. I pulled that off, kind of thing. And I really enjoy the fact that like the you don't know which great old ones you're going to get when you make the deck, and two, the fact that you don't know for sure when they're going to show up. I mean, so it's kind of this nice timing aspect of the game that you as you play, it's should I draw more cards? Because drawing the cards is the timer, and you're like, well, should I draw cards? Should I play cards? And so it's a wonderful little aspect of the game. So it's highly competitive. It's a lot of fun. It's quick to teach. It's everything that a two-player card game should be. And plus, it's got awesome art, and it has, well, of course, an awesome theme. So there you go. That is Rise of Cthulhu. If you have any questions about the game, please ask away. I'll answer those to the best of my ability. As always, I greatly appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. And until next time, I am the Undead Viking, and you have yourself one heck of an awesome day. Alright, bye-bye now.